Okay, so today I'm going to do my best to try to help you to understand the truth about YouTube mixing tutorials. Now, if you're a mix engineer, this will be helpful for you as well, I believe. But if you're someone who's a producer who mixes their own stuff, then this is absolutely crucial information for you to understand. So I myself, when I first started out, I was watching all of these YouTube tutorials and I was trying to find a way to help develop my skill and develop my sound. And the problem and the issue I had is I'm watching these tutorials of these mix engineers who are Grammy nominated and they're just adding 1 dB at 2.5K, and I'm just taking out like 0.5 dB at 500 hertz, and they're making all of these intricate and tiny moves, and I'm applying all of these techniques to my own mixes. I'm thinking, this sounds awful, like this doesn't sound good. I need to like take out 20 dB at a certain frequency for it to feel like it's good. Or I need to take out 5 to 10 dB sometimes, or boost 10 dB sometimes. But it took me the longest time to figure out what the issue was. And I realized around about 5, 6 years into my journey that these mix engineers are receiving stems from world-renowned producers when they're given these high-end tutorials. So if you're someone who's already a well-established mix engineer, then you're already receiving files from producers who are incredible. So even though you're just adding 2 dB at 1K, you don't know that that producer's added 5 saturators, 3 compressors, and 4 different EQ curves in order to get the sound to sound good before it even went to the mix engineer. And a classic example of this was the other day I was watching an incredible mix engineer called Tizo, who was, I think it's Tizio, he was mixing Victoria Monet's track. And I'm watching it and he's applying a little bit of EQ here, a little bit of EQ there, just turning this up, turning that down. And I'm thinking, for anyone who's at home, who's getting into music production, who's recording their own stuff, this is not helpful for them whatsoever, because they are starting from the raw vocal sound, whereas he isn't. Now, this isn't to say that professional mix engineers aren't doing a great job, because part of their job is to understand that by the time you receive the files, it's already gone through the artist, the producer, and the A&R, and they've approved the rough mix. So you as a professional mix engineer can't just come in and start changing the balance of everything, especially when a vocal producer would have spent hours or days or weeks or even months getting the balance of harmonies right and all of these kind of things. As a mix engineer, you're just coming in to neaten and tidy. But the issue is, a lot of people who are watching tutorials to learn how to mix, you want to know how to mix something from the production level all the way up until mastering. And the important thing you have to understand is you need to be watching producers who mix their own stuff, or who at least engineer their own stuff to a certain point. So even when you think about things like Mix with the Masters, the producer's tutorial is going to be way more helpful 9 times out of 10 than the mix engineer's tutorial, because all of those plugins and treatment that's been added to the sound before it got to the mix engineer are so crucial to how that sounds, how it sounds, that you need to understand that. And even for me myself, when I'm giving my tutorials, all of the stuff I'm showing you that I do, I actually bounce and print that down on the stems. And then if in any case it goes to another mix engineer, that mix engineer is receiving it with all of my saturation, my P44 Magnum, my EQs, all of my reverb, delays, all of that stuff is already being sent over to the mix engineer. So their starting point is where I left off. Now imagine you didn't understand this and you're trying to watch these tutorials. You can see how it's a lot of an issue, right? Because 1 dB of boost at 2K is just not going to cut it on the vocal 9 times out of 10. You have to do a lot of crafting, a lot of shaping. So I just wanted to share this information with you to help steer you in the right direction so that you don't end up wasting a lot of time and you can navigate YouTube much more effectively. Now, of course, even if you're a mix engineer, it could still be helpful to watch those tutorials, because at the current time, the quality and the outcome of your mix is heavily dependent on what you receive from the producer and how good those stems are, right? So if you understand what producers are doing to stems to get them to feel a certain way, then you yourself as a mix engineer can help to cover some of that production basis and then do all the fine tuning of the mixing as well. So I would highly recommend for you to also watch tutorials from producers who also mix. I myself am a producer who also mixes. So in my tutorials, I try to show things from the beginning all the way to the end. And I don't mean this video to be a plug just for my channel, because the truth is, if you're here, you're already watching me. But I mean to save you time. Like, honestly, I didn't know this myself. And if I did know this sooner, I could have saved a lot of time and a lot of stress wondering why my mixes weren't sounding like everyone else's. So my name's Alex Elliott. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, then please let me know in the comments down below, what kind of content have you been really enjoying from my channel so far? And is there anything that I'm not currently doing that you would be interested in? Because I'm still in the early days. I'm really open to hearing your ideas and finding a middle ground between the kind of content that I love to make and the kind of content that you love to receive. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you all next time.